Hey, paisans, the time has come. On the air since 2009, the independently produced, non-FCC compliant champ of video game talk podcasting. Here comes Tiger Claw Radio. Here's your host, Critical Failure.
Welcome everybody to Tiger Claw Radio. This is your host, Critical Failure. It's Monday. It's that time again. Thank you for letting me be just a little bit late. We've got Battle of the Bits has a new album out over on their Bandcamp page. It's a folk compilation, which, I'm going to be honest, was a little hit or miss. There's only 8 tracks on it, but among those 8, there were a couple of gems that we're going to play here on the air. And then we've got a nice 25-minute Vancast. We'll read the fail bag. We'll call it a day. Stick with us. This is from the Battle of the Bits folk music compilation. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio. That's Squiggy with Santorini. That's right, we're eating garlic bread, we're eating fettuccine, and we're listening to chiptunes. And the word chiptunes are in gigantic air quotes here on Tiger Claw Radio. And for now, let's shoot over to the Vancast. All right, it's Vancast time, everybody. 4:38 p.m. 29 degrees outside, but I'll tell you what, it feels colder than that. I'm on my way to pick up dinner, because it is date night. It's date night. It's a magical night where we get takeout, I guess. And we have got, we're getting takeout from a couple places, because the little one had a bit of an allergic fit. You know, a lot of sneezing, a lot of not feeling good. So... excuse me. So we thought for date night. Hang on one second. Somebody's stopping in the middle of the road because that's a good idea. There we go. I think we're in good shape again. Yeah, so long story short, I'm going to 3 different places for dinner. I'm getting fries, and then I'm getting some Chinese food, and then I'm getting pizza. Because that's how we roll. And I tried to follow the chain of events that would make that make sense, and it just didn't happen. So let's talk about some video games. The big one on my list is Castlevania. I finally beat the original Castlevania after 3 decades. It's one I played since I was a kid many times, and I picked it up on Steam a couple of sales back. It's been in my collection for at least a year now. The Castlevania Collection. And I played it on my little non-gaming laptop. Excuse me. And I was pissed because my non-gaming laptop, couldn't run it. It was experiencing slowdown. And it can play other, really low-end games. So, it's the Minecraft laptop, for goodness sakes. But, it couldn't run it. It was getting some really drastic slowdown. And the original Castlevania was an NES game, so that to me is just unacceptable. One thing that was kind of nice is, the little bit I managed to slog through with the slowdown, I noticed when I moved over to my good computer. There you go. Now it's a TCR Vancast. When I moved over to the good computer, it utilized cloud saves. The save state was a cloud save, so I was able to continue from level 2 or whatever. But I played all the way through the original Castlevania, and I beat it, and it took me about I don't know, 3 hours or so to do. And I used save states so hard that, especially in the last handful of boss battles, I was doing it so much that there were several points where I had to save and load between each hit. Each time I would do 1 point of damage to the boss, I would save state and load, just because some of the boss battles in Castlevania are just so drastically broken. And what made it worse was, I know that there's issues where it's like you have to get to the boss with a certain weapon, and if you can get to the boss with a certain weapon, then it's a scratch and you can just knock him right out. And I didn't know what any of those were, so there were a couple of instances, like with the Grim Reaper in particular. I got to the Grim Reaper with like the time freeze. And apparently that's a weapon that just doesn't work on bosses. You do the time freeze, it makes the sound like time is frozen, but the boss just keeps doing what he does. So, that's the thing. So that meant save states weren't going to save me. I actually had to take the death and then go back or whatever. That happened a few times, but whatever. That's gaming with save states. That's just how it is. But just the severity of the brokenness with the bosses reminded me of the whole situation with NES games and making American versions of Japanese games harder because of the American rental market that we had in the 90s. And I think this might be one of those games, because the Castlevania Anthology also comes along with their Japanese counterparts. And I loaded up the Japanese version of the original Castlevania game, and sure enough, front and center on the title screen, you can choose between playing normal and easy mode. And that's just absent in the American version. So I haven't tried giving that game a playthrough. I might, because Castlevania is one of these games where it's like a lot of it is memorization. So if you know what the patterns are, you can just knock it right out, easy peasy, even though it is, by definition, a very difficult game. I just played through it, so I could probably play some of the Japanese version just for comparison's sake. I might do that. Yeah. Long and short of it, though, it was a really enjoyable experience, and that was one game in the collection, right? I think I paid like $5 or $6 for the Castlevania Collection when I got it initially. So yeah, I dug it. And there's other games on there I really want to play. I don't feel the need to play them all, but it's got Castlevania Adventure for the Game Boy, which is one that I had and would like to try again. I also never played... Oh my gosh, all the yawning, jeez Louise. Even for me, like, I'm pretty alert right now, but just the yawning is crazy. I never really gave Castlevania 3 a try, and that's one people like. People, Castlevania 1 is what it is, and then 2 is a divisive game, and then people like 3, and then, and the rest is history. One moment, please. Yeah, there we go. So, I don't know if I'll play those through to the end, because, those weren't games I had as a little tyke. The original Castlevania, though, like, playing through that game, the moment I got further than I had ever been was like a leaving the Shire moment. Okay? Because I never, like, in my playthroughs, I never beat the second level. And then I remember watching my older brother play and never seeing him beat the third level. Whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, it was your turn. Yeah. Yes, be mad. It's okay. Alright, okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, so, you know. Alright, hang on here. We're gonna go this way, and we'll be fine. Alright. Okay. Busy in town tonight. Almost 5 o'clock on Saturday night. It's party time here in the suburbs. Everybody is exhausted from not working hard all week. Alright, why don't I pause this so I can hit the first stop. Alright, Chinese food has been acquired. Let's see if I can back up. And I gotta get back around to fries. French fries. I'm going to get fries. And that is another curbside place that is nearby. So I just have to kind of get turned around, and there we go. Yeah, so Castlevania was my thing for a little while. But again, using save states, it didn't really take that long. It's not a long game. You're looking at 5 bosses, right? What are the hoses? Come on now. I know the Let's Players know them. But the mummies, right? There's one point in the game where you face the 2 mummies, and they have like just a game-ruining hose, I'm pretty sure. And I didn't know what that was, so that took several tries. But I want to learn what they are before I try and play through it again via the Japanese version. Oh boy. Yeah, because I have a feeling, even though I didn't struggle too hard, I have a feeling I struggled harder than I had to in a couple places. Which is fine, you know. This is an NES game. It's when they were able to make things challenging, and that was an okay thing to do. And that's cool. Because after that, after playing Castlevania, I moved on to Stardew Valley, which is a game that is devoid of all challenge. You know, it's one of those things where it's like chilling out the game. And I very much enjoyed Stardew Valley. I couldn't say enough nice things about it. But at the same time, very, very opposite from Castlevania. All right, now I'm at the fry place. So let me throw the flashers on, and I gotta call them, which means I gotta stop this recording. All right, did that do it? Are we recording again? Yeah, okay, so we went from Castlevania to Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley, if you're not familiar, farming game, which, I don't know, nothing that I say about Stardew Valley makes it sound like a game I would like. It's a farming game. There's no way to lose. You know, you could just not farm and you'd be fine, but you wouldn't be able to like get new things. That's Stardew Valley. Oh, hang on. I think I might have to scoot back a little bit. Right. So, not too much I can say about Stardew Valley. A couple things I will say is that it runs on my non-gaming laptop, and it looks more demanding than Castlevania for the NES. So, you know, that is what it is. But yeah, that's cool. It's been a good time. I would say that I believe, I could be wrong about this, but I believe it was originally an RPG Maker game. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there who knows Stardew Valley, but I was thoroughly impressed. with the way it utilized that engine. A lot of like collecting stuff and talking to people, and I don't know. It's the closest thing we have to like The Sims. Oh, hang on, it's fry time.
Mary?
Yep.
All right.
Hey, thank you so much, man.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. All right. We are in good shape. All right. We are in very good shape. So we now have Chinese food, and now we've got fries. And what goes better with Chinese food and fries than an entire pizza? Because, you know, that's just what it is. All right, and we will wait for a minute to get through traffic. My goodness, this place is overcrowded. It is overcrowded, and you know what? That's all right. We'll live. What's the best way to get out of here? By playing video games. Sure is the best way, because that's what this is about. It's about video games. It's not about traffic. So Stardew Valley is pretty fun. It's the closest thing that I can find to like The Sims. I saw recently that someone was talking about The Sims, and they made a good point that there's no real competition for The Sims. There isn't another game like it, that does things quite the same way. So, I mean, maybe there are, but I don't know. I don't know of any other life simulator game, quite like it. So Stardew Valley is a game that comes close, just because you can build a house and get married and whatnot. Very similar to the way you can in The Sims. So that was kind of fun, and it's a lot less expensive. Like when I first picked it up, even on sale, it was like $12. Typically 15. You're not going to get it for less than 10. I think I got it for 12. I was thinking, for a game that looks like an RPG Maker game, it's a pretty hefty price tag. But on the other hand, a game that's like The Sims, I don't know when the last time you played a game like that from the Sims franchise was, but those games are all crazy expensive. Even like the old ones when they were new, like Sims 2 back when it was new, all of the various expansions got physical releases, which, if you're a thrift store guy, you've probably seen them all a million times, but back in those days, man. So if you want to get into The Sims now, you can get yourself The Sims 4 on Origin or Steam or what have you, which, to be fair, you can get that for like $5 if you wait for a sale now. But even the littlest add-on is megabucks. The one for pets, the one to make it so that your sim can have a dog, $40. No thanks, Electronic Arts. No thanks. So that's been video gaming for me, more or less, for the last little bit. I spent a lot of time in the last 48 hours working on my record label, which is something I haven't done. My little record label ceased operations for the most part last September. I put things on hold so that I could, focus on work. And then when work eased up, I didn't resume. I just went back to other parts of my life. So 8 months, first release in 8 months. I worked with a gentleman by the name of Steve Hand, who reached out to some folks and made a best of modular grid. So we made best of modular grid 2021. And we did one last year as well, which was really good. So that was cool. That came out. We dropped that one just last night. And it's got some tracks on it, and I was listening to it this morning. Really good, a really good way to return. So that's free if you want to, another free CME album. That's one you can pick up and listen to. Better modular artists on there than me. And one thing that's cool about Modular Grid is those are all hardware guys. So none of that is going to be like, oh yeah, this is something I made in FL Studio. No, none of that. This is all, each track is somebody's carefully crafted Eurorack collection or modular collection doing what they do. So that's one thing I really appreciate about the Best of Modular Grid albums, this one and the one from last year. So I'm kind of proud of that, to be honest. And big thanks to Steve Hand, who really did all the hard work. He's the one who actually reached out to the people and got everybody together. So that's pretty awesome. Oh my gosh. Oh, hold on a second. I got the sun coming right in my eyes. Right. So the third stop is pizza. Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can have pizza anytime. So they say. We've made our 2 stops, and we're on our way to get pizza. Yeah, so playing Stardew Valley, got me interested in RPG Maker again. And I was very, very recently. I was working on RPG Maker 2003 projects, a couple of them. Just having fun with the builder, not really working on a focused project. But there was something that I was working on like a year or two ago called Idle Space. And it was a VX Ace project where you're on a spaceship, and I wanted to do something. I was trying to make a game that felt like an idle game, like something like Territory Idle or something like that. And I was able to do a couple things that I was really proud of, but ultimately, that one kind of went by the wayside until I played Stardew Valley, and I realized that Stardew Valley was able to do a lot of the things, that I was thinking about. They articulated that concept of an idle game a lot better than I had. So I kind of want to revisit that idea, I want to make it so that you'll have random time-based encounters with other ships, and when you encounter another ship, there'll be like some RNG at play. So it's like you can either trade with the other ship, or maybe the other ship's a derelict, and then you'll have a chance to go explore a dungeon, and rob the ship, that sort of stuff. I don't know. There's some things I can do there that wouldn't take a whole lot of technical know-how. That would be really cool. My biggest problem with using RNG in an RPG Maker game is that RPG Maker has no way to assign a text string to a variable. At least it didn't in VX Ace. I don't know if the new ones do or not, but variables in RPG Maker are only numbers, right? So you can do this when this number equals this, and then manipulate that number behind the scenes any way you want to. But when you're like programming something raw, you can also assign those things, those variables, to hold text strings. For example, let's say you meet a character, right? So in RPG Maker, all of the heroes are held in a roster that are predefined. But let's say I just wanted to make it character A, and then there's a procedure that randomly assigns a name to character A from a bank. And you can have a bank of like 100 names, okay? And then hold that name in a variable and then work that way. That is much more difficult to do in an RPG Maker than it would be to do in, say, like C++ or something like that. And that was one of the things that held me back, because I was doing these like simple little RPG Maker games, these simple little like classic Dragon Warrior knockoffs. I thought it'd be cool to make it so that the additional people in your party, there's some RNG at play, and they're different every time, and they have different powers and different abilities, and and that can affect how easy or difficult the gameplay is. But the inability to randomize the names made it frustrating. All right, so now I'm at my third stop. Time to go in and get some pizza, and I'll be right back. Wow, we're 22 minutes in. So that's my ramble about what I played over the last couple days. And I gotta be honest, I couldn't even tell you what's going on in the video game world right now. Because it's, you know, I couldn't even begin to tell you what's new on the you know, the PlayStation 7 and the Xbox 2 and what have you. And your Colecos. Couldn't begin to tell you. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Just me and my Steam collection. And yeah, and that's about it. I don't even really have... I don't have anything else that's on my to-play list right now. Usually when I do something like this, there's I've played Game X and Game Y, and I'm looking forward to playing Game Z. That's usually how it works. That's the formula, I think. Right now, there's no additional game I'm looking forward to playing. I'm still playing Stardew Valley. I put in 15 hours over the span of like a couple days. Excuse me, which is crazy. Crazy for me. That kind of thing just does not happen. So I'm probably going to play Stardew Valley a little bit more, and I'm also looking forward to returning to RPG Maker a little bit, because I really enjoy doing RPG Maker. RPG Maker is it's a rare exception when it comes to video games, because the argument about against playing video games is you spend X amount of hours, and at the end of it, you don't have anything to show for it, except maybe a cool save file. At least when it comes to RPG Maker, you've got something that you've created. Now, I look back on the RPG Maker games that I worked on years and years ago, many years ago, and whether or not they're good games, you know, is beside the point. But I feel like I produced something, like there was something came out of the time I spent there, which is one of the reasons I think RPG Maker, even an old crappy version of RPG Maker, you know, for $2.50 on sale, whatever it is, I think is worth time, you know, a little bit of time just to have fun. Yeah, so that's something I'm looking forward to doing over the next week or so. And with that, we're 25 minutes in. I am riding in a car with fries and with Chinese food and with 2 pizzas. Not 1, but 2. And I'm on my way home to watch a movie with my wife and with my youngest son. We're probably going to watch something from Disney from the 70s. Probably going to have Kurt Russell in it as a child star. You know, how he used to do a lot of kids' movies when he was a kid. Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, Follow Me Boys, that kind of stuff. So, yeah. That's going to be my evening. And then hopefully when the kids go to bed, I'll be able to, depending on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling creative, I'll be able to get back into RPG Maker. But if I want to just glaze over and stim for a while, like Alex Swingle would say, it's probably going to be Stardew Valley. And given how today's gone, you know, taking care of the little ones, all the energy that's taken, that's probably what's going to end up happening. And that's fine. That's fine too. Yeah, so with that, I think I'm going to send you folks back to the studio. I'll see you there. Back again in the studio. I want to shift gears and talk about a video posted in the Discord from Hemrock. And this is from Jim RPG, who's also a part of the Discord. It's about the Miyoo, Miyoo Mini review. It's okay, so that is... It's another one of these handheld emulation devices, and I wasn't in the market for another one because I have the Powkitty V90 and I have the Ambernick RG 280V, and those two were enough for me. 280V, beautiful screen, a little uncomfortable to hold, so I can't play for long term, and then the V90 sort of has been filling that gap. I've been playing the V90 lately since I got the Pico 8 update installed that Hemrock put in the Discord. That's been my thing. But this, it looks good. It's you know, cost efficient, which I'm seeing these handhelds
there's a lot of them coming out, and the prices are just slowly creeping up and up and up and up and up, which is, I guess, to be expected because the capabilities are creeping up with it. So I don't think it's like unfairly going up and up. But this is another budget handheld. You're talking about, $50 give or take price range. That's pretty good. That's the same as the V90 these days. If you scout it, you can get the V90 for around 40, but the same kind of ballpark. The sub 100 range is really what we're talking about. And I gotta say, it looks great. It's exactly the size of a deck of cards, which I love, because you can get yourself a nice card holder, and there you go. That'd be a good case. So you got a lot of really awesome case options. Screen looks great. Very, very, very razor thin bezels. So maximizing the space that you're actually using, and then the hand portion of the device, the part where the actual controls are, it looks easily twice as wide as the 280V, and that was my big complaint with the 280V. There's very little space to put my hands. So I don't know. I gotta be honest. I'm really thinking about this thing. We'll see. I've been going over different things I can do with the V90 more and more over the past week, and in order to get another device, this is the rule. I have to look at this device and be like, wow, I want to get that so that I can play this specific game that I either can't play right now or is uncomfortable to play right now. That's what I need to have happen in order to buy this thing. And I don't know what that is right now. So that's why I'm not dropping one in my cart over the next couple weeks. Or at least that's why I'm not dropping it in my cart today. We'll see if that changes. But yeah, this is a really good looking device. Jim RPG's got a really, really good video showcasing it. It's short, just under 12 minutes, so he doesn't beat around the bush, for a complete breakdown, which I appreciate. Because a lot of these handheld hardware review type videos, they push like 30 minutes, when they do a complete rundown. So yeah, I don't know, it's a good looking device. I don't really know what else to say about it apart from that. I'm really into ROM hacks right now, so there's that. Another cool device to play ROM hacks on would be awesome. I will also say the company that's making it, Miyoo, Miyoo, that's the custom firmware that you put on the V90. That is the Miyoo firmware. So that has been awesome. So there's that. So it's a company that I've crossed paths with at least once in some way in the past. Yeah, and I've got my eye on this thing. That's what we'll say. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. If anybody else picks it up, let me know. Here's another little bit that Hemrock gave us over on the Discord. Is this the next Pure Solar? Affinity Sorrow is a new and original 16-bit classic top-down RPG with turn-based combat and development for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive consoles. Kickstarter ends on February 24th, but they've already reached their goal. $38 gets you a cartridge, $20 gets you the ROM if that's your style, or you can wait and pay $100 on eBay in a few years. So I took a look at this. It is indeed another RPG. Looks good, I guess. And they did get their funding. I was waffling about it. $20 for a full-featured original RPG that's not an RPG Maker project. For a console, that's not bad. That's not bad. I could put that on... I could put it on an emulation device. It's a perfect game to play on your V90 or the Miyoo Mini if I ended up picking it up. As for, am I actually going to get it? They're saying that it's scheduled to be released. When did they say? The digital edition, December 2024. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I want to drop $20 and wait 2 years for a game. I'd rather just pay the additional amount and then get it when it actually comes out, just the ROM. If they're offering just the ROM, then, it is what it is. And if they don't, if it's unobtainable when it comes out, then I guess they don't want my, patronage, I guess. Whatever, I don't know. It does look good, though. It looks very Stardew Valley, at least from the screenshots. Yeah. Good looking game. Not much else I can say about it except sure as JRPG. Check that out on the Discord if you're interested. Yeah, Pure Solar was quite a thing, wasn't it? I'm not sure if I'm ready for another Pure Solar. Ready for another game like Pure Solar, but, hey, let's talk about this release for the next 5 years. I don't know, man. I'm not saying I'm not interested. I'm just saying come back closer to release time, and we'll talk about it. It does look good, though. Speaking of the Discord, Hemrock's high score for Astro Robo Sasa is 18,920. Underrated game for the Famicom, he says. And, Famicom games, right up my alley. Here again, another thing to do with the handheld emulation devices. I collected Famicom games for a while. Got myself a nice little collection, but I still need something reliable I can play them on. Whenever I want to play a Famicom game at this point, I have to use the Famiclone, which does work. Don't get me wrong, does work. But you know how clone systems, at least the lower-end clone systems... Hang on a second, let's see if I can stop the fuzzing. They have this sort of light plasticky feel to it, with no weight, where everything feels like featherweight that could break in your hands. It's kind of like that. I have played games that way. It's not terrible, but if I were to really deep dive that system, then I'd want to get something a bit more. I would want to get something a bit more, and that's really all I can say about that. Which is a shame because I managed to collect some pretty decent Famicom games. Yeah. So if anybody wants to challenge Hemrock or boast about whatever high score they've come across in recent times, Discord is there. All right, boys and girls, let's head over to YouTube and see what we have in the comments section. Over on YouTube, we got one from Eric Controller saying, glad to hear 7 Days to Die has come back from the dead in your Steam library. They're consistently releasing updates to the game, and in the current state, it's pretty good. I hope they can keep it that way. I'll have to keep an eye out for when you're playing and hit you up. Many hands make light work for building up those base defenses. Yeah, I'm down. I think I have better luck setting up a time when we can play together ahead of time, because when I'm actually on and playing is so sporadic and unpredictable, it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, that would be dope. I would appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for checking in. And we'll see what else we got here. Hang on. I think that's it for the failback, actually. Eric, hope you're doing well, man. Hemrock, also, thank you both for checking in. Hope life's good. Hope you're having a good time, and I hope the video games are still fun. And with that, boys and girls, that's TCR for the week. We're going to call it a little bit early. Just because, the well runneth dry, and why force it? There's plenty of video games to play out there. I'm going to go get some now. Hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week.